This is my brother Marcus. A person was born different from others, not because of any physical difference, but because of the extraordinary soul he carried within. Marcus had a confidence that could carry mountains and a heart so big it seemed to beat for everyone but himself. He was willing to do anything for his family, and to him, the word tired didn't exist. On March 28, 1999, a boy named James was born. That boy was me. My birth was not celebrated. It was not a moment of joy for those around me. My arrival into this world came with tears. Tears of loss, not happiness. My mother died giving birth to me, and as an infant, I couldn't understand. All I could do was cry. Marcus is 10 years older than me, and I am sure he felt the loss that day. But Marcus never blamed me for her death. Instead, he became everything I need. For the first 5 years of my life, Marcus was my world. My father took on the role of both parents, working tirelessly to provide for us. These two men were my entire world. They gave me a name, taught me lessons, and raised me with love. They never once made me feel like I was the reason for her absence. Dad often said, "No matter what happens, you two must stay together. Never be separate." Those words became a promise we both silently made to each other, a promise I would carry with me forever. Years passed, and Marcus grew into the man I always admired. At the age of 27, he married a woman he loved deeply. I was so proud of him. After everything he had sacrificed for me, he finally had someone who could give him the happiness he so deserved. His wife was kind and warm and loved Marcus deeply. He had 2 beautiful children, a boy and a girl. They were everything to him, and I adored them too. Whenever I visited Marcus, his kids would fight over who got to sleep next to me. But it always ended with the older brother winning because his little sister would cry and give in. Their laughter, their innocence, it brought me peace. Marcus often talked about our mother. He would describe her as a gentle yet strong woman. "Mom was never harsh," he'd say, "but don't think she wasn't fierce. She always made sure we were disciplined and independent." Through Marcus' words, I felt like I knew her, even though I had no memories of my own. It was Marcus who kept her spirit alive for me, who made sure I understood the kind of person she was. One day, I came down with a terrible fever. I had promised Marcus I'd pick up his kids from school while he went to the airport to pick up his wife, but I couldn't. I was too sick to get out of bed. I called Marcus and apologized, feeling guilty for letting him down. But he reassured me, as he always did, saying, "Don't worry about it, James. I've got it covered." I stay in bed, resting, when a call came in a few hours later. It was Marcus' wife. Her voice was shaky, trembling. She'd tell me, Marcus and the kids were in an accident. I froze, my heart dropped into my stomach. Tears streamed down my face before I even knew what had happened. I rushed to the hospital as fast as I could. When I arrived, I saw her wife standing outside the room, tears pouring down her face. Inside, there was a bed. A white sheet covered the person lying there. It was Marcus. My tears fell freely as I whisper, "Why? Why did it have to be you?" The doctor told me what had happened. A drunk driver had run a red light, crashing into Marcus's car. The impact caused severe head trauma, and he could not be saved. In my panic, I ran through the hospital, searching for my nephew and niece. When I found them, I was met with even more heartbreak. My nephew, the one who always fought to sleep next to me, had also passed away. He had suffered severe internal bleeding. I lost him too. I held his tiny hand, whispering apologies he would never hear. My world crumbled around me as I realized the gravity of what had happened. But then, amidst the darkness, there was a small glimmer of light. My younger niece had survived, though with a broken arm. Her cries filled the room. I fell to my knees in the hallway of the hospital, consumed by grief and guilt. If only I had gone, I kept thinking. If only I had kept my promise, maybe this wouldn't have happened. I blamed myself for everything, unable to forgive the choices I had made that day. The days that followed were a blur. Marcus' funeral was a somber affair. Friends, family, and neighbors all gathered to pay their respects. Everyone spoke of his kindness, his strength, and his unwavering dedication to those he loved. But as I stood by his grave, I felt like a part of me had been buried with him. My niece became my lifeline. I vowed to be always with her in the way Marcus had always been there for me. She was the last piece of him I had left, and I clung to her as if my life depended on it. Every laugh, every hug, every "I love you" from her reminded me of Marcus and the love he had poured into all of us. To my brother, wherever you are, thank you for everything, for being my brother, my protector, my mentor, and my friend, for giving me love when I didn't deserve it, strength when I felt weak, and hope when the world seemed hopeless. Your sacrifices will never be forgotten. Your love will always live on in the hearts of those you touched.